It starts with the glow of my phone screen. Nothing extraordinary, just another Tuesday evening, the kind of time that usually drags like wet film through an old projector. I'm lying on my bed, backpack still at the foot where I dropped it after class, my father's battered camera case propped against the wall where it always waits for me. My routine: scroll through the group chat, catch up on what everyone's buzzing about, then maybe drag myself to the editing suite to stitch together the footage I've been playing with all week. The chat is alive tonight, little bubbles flashing, messages stacking like popcorn kernels popping too fast to count. I rub my thumb over the corner of the phone, half paying attention. My mind drifts back to the conversation I had with Mia just 2 days ago, on the steps outside the Academy Theater. She'd been talking about how, once the semester wraps, we'd finally start shooting our film. Our film. The one we'd whispered about since we were kids on her porch, the glow of a borrowed projector painting our faces while we dreamed about making something that could outlast us. I still remember her words clearly, "We're so close, Alex. Just you and me, we'll do this. No one else gets it the way we do." That memory feels sharp and warm as I scroll, until my thumb stops dead. A new message sits at the bottom of the thread. It's hers. Mia, exciting news. Going on a trip next month with Ethan to shoot a project we've been planning. Can't wait to share what we make together. Sparkles clapperboard. For a moment, I don't understand. My brain stumbles over the words like they're subtitles in a language I almost know but not quite. I read it again. And again. The letters don't change. The emojis sparkle, mocking me. Reactions flood in immediately. Sophie, OMG YESSS, that's huge. Fire fire. David, finally. Proud of you, clapping hands. Lena, you and Ethan are gonna kill it. Ethan. The name hits me like a flashbulb in the eyes. The assistant. The one always hovering around Mia with his slick confidence and too easy grin, the one who carried her equipment last week like he'd been doing it all his life. I thought it was harmless. I told myself it was harmless. My chest feels hollow, like someone scooped out my lungs and left only static. I scroll up, rereading her announcement, hoping I missed a word, something like, with Alex and Ethan, or, finally starting the project we all dreamed of. But no. Just her. And him. The group chat keeps exploding, messages stacking faster than I can keep up. Little hearts, fire emojis, congrats, amazing, you deserve this. The celebration builds into a roar I can almost hear in my skull, drowning me out. I don't type anything. My fingers hover above the screen, trembling, but every word I start feels either pathetic or explosive. Wait, wasn't this our plan? Delete. Mia, what the hell? Delete. Congrats, smiley face. Delete, delete, delete. I lock the phone, but the glow still lingers in my vision. My pulse thuds in my ears. We promised. My mind reels backward to years ago, Mia and me at 13, lying on her trampoline under a blanket, projector flickering against the side of her house. The air smelled like cut grass. She turned to me and said, "One day, we'll make something like this. Not just watch, but create." I nodded so hard my neck ached. She laughed, bumping her shoulder into mine. We were kids, but we meant it. Now, she's typing, we, and meaning Ethan. The buzzing starts again, my phone vibrating with new notifications. Against my better judgment, I unlock it. Another message flashes at the bottom. Ethan, big things ahead. Can't wait to show you all what we're working on, winking face. My grip tightens until I feel the sharp edge of the phone press into my palm. He's not even subtle. He's basking in it, soaking up attention that was supposed to be ours. I checked the private chat with Mia. Blank. No heads up, no explanation. Just silence, until today, when she dropped the bomb in front of everyone like I didn't even matter. I set the phone down face first on the blanket. My ceiling stares back at me, white, cracked in one corner where the plaster dips. Tonight it doesn't look like plaster. It looks like an empty screen, blank and mocking, waiting for a story that no longer belongs to me. I whisper into the stillness of my room, though no one's there to hear. Why didn't you tell me, Mia? The words sound small, swallowed by the hum of the radiator. I pressed the heel of my hand to my eyes until stars burst in the dark. But even they can't cover the truth, something has shifted, sharp and permanent. For the first time, I wonder if our dream was only ever mine. The morning after the group chat bombshell, I wake up with my phone still face down on the nightstand. I don't touch it. I'm afraid of what I'll see, more fire emojis, more clapping hands, more praise for Mia and Ethan. My chest tightens at the thought, and I bury my face into the pillow like that will somehow block it out. But no matter how I shift, my eyes always drift back to the corner of the room where my father's camera case rests. The leather is cracked, the handle fraying. It looks out of place against the cheap plaster walls and the half-unpacked boxes of student life. But that case is a constant, weighty, silent, reminding me why I started all this in the first place. I tell myself not to think about Mia. Of course, I failed. I was 12 the first night she set up the porch cinema. It wasn't anything fancy, just an old projector borrowed from her uncle and a white bedsheet pinned against the siding of her house. We sprawled on her trampoline, a bowl of popcorn balanced precariously between us, the crickets chirping in the humid air. The film was some scratchy black and white comedy, but we barely watched it. We were too busy whispering about what we would make one day. Imagine, Mia had said, brushing kernels off her shirt, people sitting in a dark theater. Watching our names roll across the screen. Written by. Directed by. Alex and Mia. She looked at me then, her eyes wide like the stars overhead. I felt something spark in my chest, bigger than a crush, deeper than just friendship. It was a belief. I nodded so hard my neck hurt. We'll do it. One day, we'll make one together. We sealed it with a fist bump that left my knuckles stinging. Kids making promises they had no business making. Except I believed it. Every word. Now, lying in bed years later, I wonder if she ever did. Or if it was just a kid's fantasy, something she let go of the moment someone shinier, louder, more useful came along. Ethan. His name tastes like iron in my mouth. The camera case calls to me, so I get up, stretch, and kneel beside it. My fingers work the latch, stiff from disuse, and when it clicks open, the familiar smell of leather and machine oil greets me. Inside, nestled in cloth, is the old film camera my father left behind. I can still see him crouched on the living room floor, threading film with a kind of reverence, as though he were touching something holy. He'd lift the camera to his shoulder and tilt his head at me. "This lens catches more than pictures, Alex," he'd said once, his voice low and steady. "It catches what matters most. Never forget that." I was 10 when he said it. 11 when the hospital smell replaced his cologne. By 12, the camera sat silent in its case. And by 13, I had Mia's porch promise layered over his words, like they were part of the same dream. But they weren't. Not really. His dream became mine. Hers. I'm not so sure anymore. I pick the camera up now, its weight heavy and solid against my palms. I stare through the lens at the dim room, at the posters peeling from the wall, at the stack of notebooks filled with script ideas I still haven't finished. For the first time since last night, I don't feel hollow. I feel furious. Furious at Mia for stealing what we built and handing it to Ethan like it was hers alone to give. Furious at myself for thinking our promise was unbreakable. But beneath the fury, a spark flickers. A thought. Maybe it doesn't matter if she keeps her promise. Maybe it never did. Because the dream was never just about her. It was about my father. About the camera. About making something that outlasts me. I lift the camera to my eye, the viewfinder cold against my skin, and whisper to the empty room. I'll tell my own story. The words sound small, but they settle in my chest like they've been waiting there all along. For the first time in a long while, Mia isn't the only ghost in my dream. The courtyard is buzzing when I step outside after class. The air smells like burnt espresso from the cafe across the way, and a circle of students has gathered near the fountain. I don't need to crane my neck to know who's at the center. Ethan's voice cuts through the chatter, smooth and magnetic. So the producer actually said, "Kid, if you can pull this off, you're in." And guess what? I did. The group bursts into laughter, admiration spilling out of them like soda shaken too hard. And there she is, Mia, at his side, her eyes bright, shoulders tipped toward him. The kind of attention she used to give me when we whispered plans between classes, sketching out stories in the margins of our notebooks. Now, she mirrors his gestures, nods when he nods, laughs when he pauses for effect. My stomach twists. It's like watching a film where your role has been recast without warning. I linger on the edge of the circle, unseen, until Ethan's gaze flickers my way. He doesn't miss a beat, doesn't ever miss a beat. "Ah, Alex," he says, flashing that too easy grin. "We were just talking about projects. You'll see, Mia and I have something really special lined up." He winks at me, subtle enough that maybe no one else notices, but sharp enough that I feel the sting. Mia's eyes dart between us, a flicker of guilt crossing her face before she pastes on a smile. "Yeah, it's going to be exciting." I force a nod. "Good for you." My voice sounds like gravel. The group laughs again at something Ethan says, and I slip away before I choke on the noise. I find a bench near the back of the courtyard, where shadows stretch long and the chatter dulls. For a while, I just sit, watching the fountain spray catch the sunlight, sparkling like a reel of film unspooling. I wonder if this is what it feels like to fade out of someone's story. "Don't tell me you're sulking already." I glance up. David drops onto the bench beside me, his backpack thumping against the wood. He's always had this way of showing up right when I'm about to sink. "Not sulking," I mutter. "Just, watching." "Watching them, you mean?" His eyes flick toward the circle, where Ethan still holds court. "You've got to stop waiting for her, man. If she wants to orbit around him, let her. You don't need her to start something." I sigh. "Easy for you to say." David shrugs. "You've got that camera. You've got ideas. Start small. Make something that's yours. Who says the first step has to be a full-length masterpiece?" His words settle heavier than I expect. Start small. That night, I dug out my father's camera again. The dorm hall is quiet, everyone else out or asleep. I wander with the camera slung around my neck, filming whatever catches my eye, the flicker of fluorescent lights in the stairwell, the way shadows stretch across tile floors, the sound of someone's laughter spilling from behind a closed door. It's nothing. Random clips. But as I adjust the focus, frame a shot, press record, I feel something loosening in me. For the first time since Mia's announcement, I'm not thinking about her. I'm just seeing. Capturing. Breathing. I set the camera on the window ledge and film the glow of streetlights against the night, little halos floating in the dark. And then it hits me. Maybe David's right. Maybe I don't need Mia to begin. I whisper it aloud, like a secret I've been afraid to admit. It doesn't have to be with her. The words linger in the room, quiet but solid. And for the first time in weeks, I feel the faint outline of freedom. I didn't want to go. Parties have never been my thing, too loud, too many flashing lights, too much pretending. But David showed up at my door with that grin of his and said, "You're coming." No arguments. So here I am, in a loft strung with fairy lights and pulsing with bass heavy enough to rattle the windows. The air smells like cheap beer and sweat. Students cluster in circles, laughing too loudly, swaying with plastic cups in hand. I hover near the kitchen counter, nursing a soda I don't really want. My camera bag sits at home, abandoned for the night, though I keep thinking how the colored light spilling across the walls would look through the lens. Then the door swings open and the air shifts. Mia walks in with Ethan at her side. I feel it before I see it, the way conversations tilt, bodies turn, the crowd magnetized toward them. Ethan's already talking, gesturing with his hands, a joke half-formed on his lips. Mia glows beside him, laughing, hair catching the light like a halo. It's a picture. One I wish I could burn before it ever develops. Her eyes flick across the room, landing on me. For half a second, her smile falters. Then she raises a hand in a small wave, casual, like we're nothing more than classmates who once shared a lab partner assignment. I force a nod. It feels like swallowing glass. Later, I hear him before I see him. Ethan's voice rises above the music, smooth and commanding. Because some people just talk about making films, but others actually go out and do it. That's the difference. Laughter ripples through the circle around him. Mia laughs too, though quieter. Her gaze darts my way for an instant. My hands curl into fists. He didn't say my name, but he didn't need to. Everyone knows. I should leave. I should walk out, go home, and let the night dissolve. But instead, I step forward, into the circle of light. Congratulations, I say, voice sharper than I intended. Sounds like you've figured it all out. Mia blinks. Alex, But Ethan cuts her off with a grin. Hey, man, you should come with us sometime. If you're ready to actually commit. His tone is friendly enough for the crowd, but his eyes are knives. Heat floods my face. Words claw at my throat, but none of them escape. I turn and walk away, the laughter chasing me like shadows. The night air is cool outside the loft. I sit on the curb, phone heavy in my hand. For a while, I just stare at the screen, her name glowing at the top of the chat history, the flood of old messages, our plans, our promises, our late-night brainstorms. Then I opened her profile. Photo after photo. Her smile wide, Ethan's arm draped casually, captions filled with excitement. None of them include me. It's like I've already been cut from the frame. My thumb hovers. A single press would do it. I hesitate. Memories flicker, the trampoline, the projector, the promises under the stars. They ache, but they're ghosts now, grainy footage from a reel that's already run its course. I press. Block. The screen goes blank. The silence that follows isn't peaceful, exactly. It's hollow, raw. But in the hollowness there's space to breathe. I lean back against the brick wall, the music from inside muffled now, faint, like end credits rolling in an empty theater. For the first time, I let the curtain fall. The classroom buzzes with the nervous energy of performance day. Laptops hum, projectors flicker, and students shuffle through USB drives like talismans. The air smells faintly of burnt coffee and old carpet. I sit in the second row, my hard drive heavy in my backpack. On it, a short clip stitched together from my midnight wanderings with Dad's camera. It isn't flashy, but it's mine. My heartbeat syncs with the tick of the clock above the whiteboard. Professor Lang clears his throat. All right, let's begin. Alex, you're up. My legs feel like they belong to someone else as I walk to the front. I plug in my drive, cue the file, and step back as the lights dim. The screen glows, flickers of stairwells, windows, shadows moving across walls, laughter behind doors. A girl's silhouette framed by sunlight in the library. Streetlights bleeding into the night sky. No dialogue, no narrative, just fragments of campus life, stitched into something quiet and strange. When the lights return, silence lingers a beat too long. Then a few polite nods. Sophie raises her hand. I liked the atmosphere, it felt intimate. David chimes in, yeah, it had soul. You could tell it was personal. A flicker of pride warms my chest. Until Ethan's voice cuts through. Interesting choice, he says smoothly, leaning back in his chair. But honestly, it felt unfinished. Like sketches instead of a story. Audiences want something complete, not scraps. Laughter ripples faintly through the room. My ears burn. I force myself to nod, jaw tight. Professor Lang moves on quickly, but the sting lingers as I pack up my drive. When Mia and Ethan step up next, the room shifts. They move like a pair, seamless, practiced. Ethan introduces their teaser with charisma oozing from every syllable. The screen fills with crisp images, sweeping drone shots, actors lit in golden glow, a voiceover promising a story of ambition and fire. The applause is immediate, louder than anything I've heard today. Students lean forward, buzzing with admiration. Mia's cheeks flush with pride, her eyes shining as she looks at Ethan, then out at the class. I sink lower in my seat. Feedback time. Hands shoot up. That was amazing. So professional. I can't believe you shot that in just a week. Ethan soaks it in, then glances my way. Of course, we all start somewhere. Alex's piece was, what's the word? Raw. Ours is just a bit more, refined. Laughter again. My fists clench under the desk. Raw isn't a bad thing, I snap, surprising even myself. At least mine was real. Not a performance tailored to impress. A hush falls. Ethan tilts his head, smirking. Real, sure. But film isn't just about pointing a camera at random hallways. It's about telling a story people actually want to watch. My chest tightens. I open my mouth to fire back, but then Mia's voice cuts in. Ethan's right, Alex. The words hit harder than his smirk ever could. Her tone isn't cruel, but it's final, like a door closing. You've always been good at capturing moments, but maybe you need to think bigger. Push yourself more. The class nods, some murmuring agreement. I feel every eye on me, weighing, judging. Heat floods my face. I swallow hard, but no words come. When the session ends, applause follows Ethan and Mia as they bask in the glow of their peers. I slip out the side door, my bag thumping against my hip, the hallway cold and empty. In my head, their words loop on repeat. Unfinished. Raw. Push yourself more. My project feels like scraps of film left on the cutting room floor. But beneath the humiliation, something else smolders. A defiance, stubborn and quiet. If scraps are all I have, then I'll make them into something no one can ignore. The room is dark except for the thin blue glow of my phone on the nightstand. I've been staring at the ceiling for hours, tracing cracks in the plaster like fault lines. Sleep refuses to come, humiliation from the classroom still burns under my skin. Then the screen lights up. Mia calling. For a moment, I just watch it pulse. My thumb hovers, torn between letting it fade and answering. Habit wins. I swipe. Alex. Her voice is soft, fragile, wrapped in the kind of warmth that used to be home. You're awake. I don't answer right away. Finally, yeah. There's a pause, a faint crackle on the line. Then she laughs lightly. Remember that night we stayed up editing the skate video? The one where you nearly broke your wrist? Her words flood me with the smell of popcorn, the hum of Dad's old computer, her laughter echoing through the kitchen at 3 a.m. The memory aches. You still owe me for the bruises, I say before I can stop myself. My voice sounds smaller than I want. She seizes it. See? We were always a team. That hasn't changed, Alex. But it has. She shifts gears, her voice picking up speed. Look, about Ethan, he's got connections, real momentum. He's not just talking, he's already lining up investors. I had to say yes, Alex. You get that, right? It's not about us, it's about my future. Her future. Not ours. You should come to one of our shoots, she continued, bright, persuasive. Just to see. Maybe you'd want to be part of it. You'd fit, if you really committed. Every word sharpens the edge. To her, I'm an accessory. A shadow trailing behind her spotlight. I sit up, the sheets cold around me. Mia, I say slowly, carefully, I'm not following you. Not anymore. Silence. Then, what? Don't be dramatic. I mean it. You've made your choice. I'm making mine. Her breath catches. For a second, I hear the girl I grew up with, stunned and uncertain. But she recovers fast. You're just hurt. Once you cool down, you'll see I'm right. You'll come around. I close my eyes, listening to her voice bleed through the speaker, sweet and poisonous. No, I whisper. I won't. The silence stretches until it feels endless. Then she exhales sharply. Fine. Suit yourself. The line clicks dead. I set the phone face down. The glow fades, leaving only darkness. My chest feels hollow, scraped raw, but there's something else underneath, a quiet certainty. For the first time, I've stepped out of her orbit. The night hums on outside my window, distant cars like waves on asphalt. I close my eyes, not to sleep, but to hold on to the silence I finally claimed. The glow of my phone is the only light in the room. It's past midnight, the dorm quiet except for the hum of the radiator. My eyes ache from scrolling, my thumb swiping on autopilot. Memes, blurry selfies, half-baked status updates, none of it registers. Then I see it. Mia. She's standing next to Ethan, both of them framed in golden hour light. She's laughing, her hair catching fire in the sun. He's holding the camera at arm's length, grinning like he owns the world. The caption. Big news. So thrilled to announce our new short film project together. Couldn't ask for a better partner. Here's to chasing dreams sparkles #onset #next chapter. There are more photos, Ethan with his arms slung casually around her shoulders, her leaning into him, behind-the-scenes snapshots of equipment, coffee cups stacked high, notebooks scrawled with ideas. My stomach drops. I read it again. And again. The words blur. My throat tightens. It isn't just a collaboration, it's the collaboration. The one Mia and I used to sketch in the margins of our notebooks. The one we swore we'd chase together. But my name isn't there. It's his. Memories flood in uninvited. Her whisper under the stars, one day, we'll make something that matters. The trampoline projector humming, her head resting against my shoulder. Our pinky promise over Dad's camera. All of it dissolves against the screen in my hand, replaced by glossy photos and hashtags. She didn't just walk away. She replaced me. Notifications explode at the bottom of the post, likes pouring in, comments cheering them on. Dream team. Can't wait to see it. Mia and Ethan are unstoppable. The group chat pings. Sophie, OMG you guys. This is huge. Tyler, legends in the making clapping hands clapping hands clapping hands. Mia, thanks guys Red Heart couldn't do it without my team. The word team slices deeper than any knife. Another ping. A private message. David, you okay? I don't reply. The typing bubble blinks, fades, blinks again. He gives up. I stare at the post until my thumb trembles. For a wild second, I think about commenting, saying something sharp, cutting, exposing her. But what would it matter? She's already rewritten the story. She's the heroine. Ethan's the partner. I'm the ghost, the missing frame no one notices. I close the app. My reflection stares back from the black screen, hollow-eyed. And then, before I can change my mind, I delete it. The icon vanishes, swallowed whole. For a moment, silence. Real silence. I set the phone down and stand at the window. The night air presses against the glass, cool and endless. Above the city glow, faint stars blink, tiny, distant, but stubborn. We'll see, I whisper. Not to Mia, not to Ethan. To myself. To the sky. If they're going to burn everything we built, then I'll build something that can't be erased. The camera sits on my desk like a relic, the strap frayed, the lens smudged with fingerprints older than I am. I run a cloth across the glass, slow, careful. Dad's hands used to do this, guiding mine as if the act of cleaning was as sacred as filming. I pack lightly, a few shirts, a notebook, batteries, rolls of tape. The bag looks half empty, but it holds everything that matters. Campus feels smaller every day, walls pressing in, whispers chasing me down every hallway. Everywhere I turn, I see her, her laugh in the cafeteria, her name glowing on congratulatory posts, her shadow at my back. I can't breathe here. So I'm leaving. Not for long, maybe, but long enough to find air. A coastal town a few hours away, cheap motel, empty streets, a horizon that doesn't look like her face. I don't slip away unnoticed. David finds me outside the dorm, bag slung over my shoulder, camera hanging against my chest. His brows knit. You're really going? Yeah. He studies me, searching. Then he nods slowly. Good. You need this. Just, don't disappear completely. Behind him, Sophie folds her arms, skeptical. So you're running away? I bite down hard before answering. No. I'm walking toward something. There's a difference. Her smirk falters. And then Mia appears. I don't know if she followed David or if fate just couldn't resist twisting the knife one more time. Alex, she says, breathless. Where are you? What are you doing? I adjust the strap on my camera. Leaving. For how long? Long enough. She steps closer, voice softer. This is ridiculous. You can't just throw everything away. I meet her eyes, steady for once. I'm not throwing anything away. I'm taking what's mine. I'm not part of your story anymore, Mia. I'm writing my own. Her mouth opens, but no words come. For the first time, she's speechless. I turn before she recovers. The bus station hums with tired voices and the hiss of brakes. My bag feels heavier now, but not with regret, with resolve. I sink into a cracked vinyl seat, the camera on my lap, its weight both anchor and compass. Through the window, the city slides away. Neon signs blur into streaks, towers shrinking, streets thinning into fields. My chest loosens with every mile. The coastal town greets me with salt on the wind and gulls screeching overhead. The air tastes cleaner, sharp with brine. Wooden houses sag against the breeze, paint peeling like sunburn. I lift the camera before I unpack. The lens drinks in the world, waves slapping against the pier, rusted bikes leaning against fences, kids darting barefoot across the boardwalk. Nothing staged, nothing polished. Just life, raw and unfiltered. Through the viewfinder, I feel something shift. These images are mine, untouched by her smile or his shadow. I turn the camera toward the horizon, the sea stretching wide, endless, indifferent. The frame holds nothing but sky and water, infinite space. The tide pulls out, and with it, the last shadow of who I used to be. The motel bed creaks when I sit up, the sheets rough against my skin. Outside, gulls scream like restless children, and the air smells of salt and fried batter from the diner across the street. I sling the camera strap around my neck. The lens is cool against my chest, steadying me. I step out into the morning light. The town greets me with weathered wood and peeling paint, nets drying on fences, voices calling across the pier. Every corner begs to be framed. I start with the fisherman. His hands are thick, knotted with age, as he repairs a tangled net. Each pull of the thread is slow, deliberate, rhythmic. I crouch low, framing his hands in close-up. He glances at me once, then nods, returning to his work. The trust is wordless. Later, I catch children racing barefoot across the sand, their laughter spilling louder than the gulls. The camera captures their blur, their joy unposed, the way they fall and rise again without shame. In the afternoon, a woman hangs laundry outside her house. Sheets whip in the wind, snapping like sails. Sunlight burns through the fabric, casting ghostly shapes. Through the lens, the ordinary becomes luminous. Every shot feels alive. Not polished, not staged, just real. For the first time, filming feels like breathing. As I work, I think of Dad's hands adjusting mine on this very camera. "Don't chase the shot," he said once. "Let the shot chase you." I understand now. For years, I thought filmmaking was about grandeur, about proving something. But here, with the sea roaring in the background and strangers filling my frames, I see it differently. The camera isn't a relic anymore. It's my pulse. That night, back in the motel, I logged in on a borrowed computer. The screen glows with updates. Mia and Ethan again. Smiling in matching jackets, behind a slick camera rig. Caption: "Another day on set. Grateful for our sponsors and the best team in the world. #DreamBig #on the rise." Hundreds of likes. Comments pouring in, icons. Future of cinema. I scroll through the images. Staged, polished, curated for applause. Once, they would have gutted me. Tonight, they feel empty, weightless compared to the fisherman's hands or the children's laughter caught in my lens. Their dream is all surface. Mine has depth. I shut the computer and return to my camera. I rewind the footage from today, waves slamming the pier, kids shrieking with joy, sheets snapping white against the sky. Each frame hums with life. "This is mine," I whisper. The red recording light blinks in the dark beside me, steady, alive, like a heartbeat keeping time with my own. The festival smells like buttered popcorn and dust. Posters for indie films hang crooked on the walls, the colors faded from too many hands brushing past. I clutch my father's camera case tighter, as though it might anchor me in the tide of chatter and clinking coffee cups. My name is on the program, buried between polished student reels and flashy short films sponsored by studios. Mine just says, untitled, 15 minutes, documentary footage. I take a seat in the lobby, pretending to read the pamphlet. That's when I hear it, her laugh. "Mia." I don't even need to look, but of course I do. She sweeps in like she always does, Ethan at her side, both of them surrounded by buzzing conversations and eager handshakes. She wears the kind of smile that fills a room and empties me all at once. My chest tightens, but I hold still. I'm not the boy trailing her shadow anymore. She spots me. For a second, her eyes widened. Then she crosses the lobby. Ethan stays behind, caught in another conversation. "Alex," she says, almost breathless. "I didn't expect to see you here." I force a small smile. Festivals are public. Anyone can walk in. Her lips curve, though it doesn't reach her eyes. "Still chasing the dream, huh?" "Something like that," I say evenly. She tilts her head, studying me, maybe waiting for the old eagerness, the way I used to hang on every word. It doesn't come. Silence stretches between us. Finally, she laughs softly and says, "Well, good luck." Then she drifts back to Ethan, her shadow no longer reaching me. The screenings begin. Mia and Ethan's short plays first. Glossy shots, sweeping music, camera moves that scream budget. The story is thin, but the room eats it up, applause, whistles, clapping that fills every corner. Then comes mine. The screen flickers with the fisherman's hands, the children's laughter, the sheets snapping white against the wind. The room quiets. My footage has no score, no polish, just the crack of waves and voices caught raw. I hold my breath as the audience shifts. Some frown, restless. But others lean forward, hushed. When the credits roll, just my name, in plain white font, there's a pause. Then scattered applause. Not loud, not showy, but real. And then I hear it, a few murmurs. People talking, debating, asking each other what they thought. Genuine conversation. It's more than enough. Afterward, Mia finds me again. Her voice is lower this time, tight. That was unexpected. Thanks, I say, my tone flat but polite. You always had an eye for strange things, she adds. It's half compliment, half dismissal. I nod. Maybe. But at least they're mine. Her mouth opens, but I'm already turning. I don't wait for the reply. Outside, the night air is damp and cool. Neon letters buzz on a marquee, their reflections bleeding across the puddles at my feet. I breathe deep, camera case against my side. I didn't need her applause to know I'd found my voice. The room glows blue from the monitor. I sat hunched over the desk, headphones clamped tight, my father's voice crackling through old footage. On screen, a birthday cake, my 8th maybe. His laugh is behind the camera, warm, unfiltered. The shot wobbles as he leans in, saying, "Smile, Alex. Make a wish." I pause the frame. His hand hovers near the lens, blurred but steady. I trace it on the screen with my finger. I'm piecing these fragments together into something whole, a tribute film. It's not for a class or a festival. It's for me, for him. The phone buzzes. The name lights up, Mia. For a moment, I let it ring. The sound drills into me, insistent. Finally, with a sigh, I answer. Her voice cracks through the speaker, too fast, too frantic. "Alex, thank God. I didn't know who else to call." I stay quiet. "It's Ethan," she blurts. "We're not on the same page. He doesn't get it, he keeps twisting everything, and the sponsors, God, they're threatening to pull out if we don't deliver something soon." She's rambling, gasping between words. This isn't the Mia I remember, the one who could make a room orbit her. This voice is jagged, unraveling. I thought we were unstoppable," she continues. "But it's falling apart, Alex. I don't know what to do." I stare at the frozen image of my father's hand on the screen. My pulse is steady. "Mia," I say, finally. She stops, breath sharp, waiting. "I can't fix your story," I tell her. "I'm busy writing mine." There's silence. For once, she doesn't have a comeback. "Alex," she says, softer now, almost pleading. But I don't let her finish. "I have to go." I ended the call. The room is quiet again, except for the hum of the computer. I unpause the footage. Dad swings the camera around. Suddenly, it's me on the screen, a boy with messy hair, holding the lens awkwardly, grinning. Dad's voice says, "Your turn." I watch it 3 times, then splice it into the sequence. "It is," I whisper. The phone lies face down beside me, silent. I won't reach for it again. The glow of the screen pulls me forward, frame by frame, my father's laughter stitching the silence together. The room hums with the whir of the computer fan. My eyes ache from staring at the screen, but I can't stop, not when I'm this close. Clips line the timeline, Dad's shaky camcorder footage, children racing across a coastal pier, sheets snapping in the wind, his laughter overlapping it all. Frame by frame, I stitch the fragments into a whole. The hours blur. The click of the mouse becomes a metronome, guiding me deeper into the reel. Sometimes, an image of Mia flickers in my mind, her smile in the editing bay back at the academy, the way she'd slap my shoulder when a cut finally worked. But now, it feels distant, like watching someone else's film. A scene with no weight. She isn't here. She hasn't been here in a long time. I realize, as I drag one last clip into place, that she doesn't belong in this story anymore. The cursor hovers over the export button. My chest tightens. I click. The progress bar crawls across the screen, inch by inch. I sit back, hands trembling slightly, not from fear but anticipation. When it hits 100%, the screen flashes, export complete. It's done. I don't cheer. I don't cry. I just breathe, slow and deep, a weight easing off my shoulders. My phone buzzes. The group chat, still alive, still chattering. Names pop up, plans, projects, gossip. I scroll lazily, detached. David sends a thumbs up to something. He checks in later, brief and kind, "How's your film coming?" I answer simply, "Finished." He doesn't press. Mia posts another photo with Ethan. A vague caption about storms and breakthroughs. I don't even open the comments. My thumb flicks past without a second thought. They're fading now, shrinking into the background like extras. I dim the lights and press play. The screen glows, my father's voice, steady and warm, over waves crashing. Cuts of my childhood roll by, candles, laughter, messy hair. Then the coastal town, fishermen, gulls, children chasing the tide. Finally, the last shot, Dad turns the camera on me, his voice saying, "Your turn." The screen fades to black. Tears slip down my cheeks, hot and steady. Not sharp with grief, but soft with release. I step outside. The night air is cool, the streetlights humming faintly. The camera hangs at my side, no longer heavy. The reel ended, but my story was only just beginning. The theater smells of burnt coffee and dust. Rows of folding chairs creak as people shift, waiting for the next screening. My hands sweat against the edges of my notebook. When my film begins, the room falls into silence. My father's laugh fills the speakers, gulls will across the screen, children splash barefoot into the tide. It ends with his voice, "Your turn." When the lights rise, there isn't thunderous applause, but there are nods, thoughtful faces. A few people whisper to each other. That's enough. She finds me in the lobby. Not Mia. Someone else. "Hey," she says, tucking a strand of dark hair behind her ear. "That was yours, right? The one with the fisherman and the kids?" "Yeah," I answer, cautiously. Her smile is genuine, unforced. I loved how raw it felt. Like you trusted the world to speak for itself. Her name is Anna. We fall into conversation, angles, lenses, how sound shapes memory. No games, no ego, just curiosity sparking curiosity. For the first time in a long time, I feel light speaking about film. When she leaves, she presses a card into my hand. We should talk more. Collaborate, maybe. The paper burns pleasantly in my pocket. Outside, the night air cools my skin. That's when I hear it. "Alex." I turn. Mia stands by the curb, arms wrapped around herself. Her face is bare, no smile, no armor. Just exhaustion. "Please," she says softly. "I need to talk." Her words tumble out, frantic. Ethan doesn't understand her. The sponsors are restless. She feels trapped. She misses when it was just the two of us, when the dream felt alive. Her eyes glisten. We were better together, Alex. You know it. The ache rises in me, old and familiar. But it doesn't rule me anymore. Mia, I say, steady. What we had, it mattered. But it's over. You taught me to dream. And I had to leave you behind to live it. She flinches, lips trembling. For once, she has nothing to say. I walk away, my pulse calm. The night hums with city lights. In my pocket, Anna's card rests, warm as a promise. The past still called my name, but I'd already answered to the future. The lights dim, and my film begins. On screen, the sea rolls against the shore, gulls will overhead, and the lens catches sunflares across the waves. Then comes my father's laugh, deep and full, echoing through the theater. The old camera captured it years ago, but tonight it feels alive again. For 20 minutes, the world holds its breath. When the screen goes dark, silence lingers like a tide refusing to leave. Then, softly, there's applause, not thunderous, not staged, but real. A hand on my shoulder, a smile from Anna, a nod from a stranger. That's all I ever wanted. Later, walking home under a sky heavy with stars, I think of him. My father hunched over his camera, showing me how to frame the horizon. Films aren't about you, he once said. They're about the people who see themselves inside them. For years, I thought the dream belonged to Mia and me together. But tonight I see clearly, it was mine all along. My father handed me the camera, Mia only borrowed the idea. Curiosity pulls me to check my phone. Mia's latest post shines across the feed, her face beside Ethan, announcing another project. The caption is dramatic, almost desperate. But for the first time, it didn't cut me open. The image feels far away, like a postcard from someone I once knew. She's become a ghost, an echo I don't need to chase. Anna's voice breaks the night. She walks beside me, camera bag slung casually over her shoulder. Your film hit me hard, she says. It felt honest. That's rare. We talk about ideas, places to shoot, stories worth telling. No weight, no tug-of-war, just shared ground, fresh soil to plant in. The city hums around us, neon lights flickering, cars sighing down wet streets. Every sound feels like part of a soundtrack, every face a potential character. I don't feel small anymore. I feel ready. I think about Mia again, but only briefly. She'll remember the nights we promised each other forever, the outlines scrawled in notebooks, the laughter echoing between half-finished scripts. She'll remember the betrayal too, the sharpness, the distance. But most of all, she'll remember this film, the one born from what we shared and what I reclaimed. I left her something she'll never forget. But me, I walk forward, into a future that is finally mine.